In the realm of architecture and construction, ambitious projects often come with their fair share of challenges and obstacles. From towering skyscrapers to grandiose bridges, construction mistakes can prove to be not only costly but also detrimental to the safety and functionality of these structures. Hello viewers and welcome to our channel. In this video, we delve into some of the most construction mistakes in the world, highlighting the lessons learned from these costly blunders. So let's dive into the video and don't forget to subscribe the channel. Tacoma Narrows Bridge in Washington. In the state of Washington, USA, spanned across the Tacoma Narrows Strait, a twin suspension bridge known as the Tacoma Narrows Bridge was built in 1940. During its time, it was the third largest suspension bridge and the very first cable suspension bridge to incorporate a series of plate girders as roadbed support. The entire overall construction cost was estimated to be around $6 million, and considering today's value with inflation, it is equivalent to $1 billion. However, the bridge that all that money was spent upon lasted only 4 months and 7 days. Due to engineering flaws and dangerous winds, the bridge would dangerously buckle and swaying could be seen even with normal winds. On the day of its collapse, the speed of the winds was about 19 meters per second and primarily due to aeroelastic flutter. Both halves of the bridge twisted in opposite directions, causing it to collapse into the river. Fortunately, no human life was harmed. This engineering flaw became a popular topic to date, and post-investigation brought in a new theory for construction: wind theory oscillations. The Aon Center. The Aon Center, built in 1974, known back then as the Amoco Building, is one of Chicago's tallest structures today. Initially, the structure was an architectural wonder to the city, a simple, rectangular, tubular, steel-framed structure. What made it stand out was its cladding with Carrara marble imported from Tuscany, making it the world's largest marble-clad building. With this beautiful and distinct feature in the building facade began to form numerous cracks due to the material being very thin, making pieces of the slab detach and crash down below as well. This led to the structure having a makeover in the 1990s, with the marble being replaced with a more suitable granite, though at a very high expense. The construction mistake ended up being worth a whopping amount of $80 million. The walkie-talkie turned walkie-scorchy. 20 Fenchurch Street is a commercial structure in London nicknamed the walkie-talkie due to its unusual shape. Completed in 2014 and costing over £200 million, the expensive skyscraper revealed itself to be an expensive construction mistake. The building's glass facade and its radian resulted in the structure being an enormous concave mirror reflecting sunlight onto the street in front for about 2 hours a day. Due to the extreme heat of about 72, there have been reports of cracking tiles, charred carpets, and melting of paint and even cars. These incidents brought another name to the tower: the walkie-scorchy. A sunscreen was placed across its curved face to reduce the glare, but fixing this architectural mistake cost about £10 million. Sydney Opera House. The Sydney Opera House is adored across the globe, but even though you can't tell from the look of it, it ranks as one of the world's failed projects in terms of planning as well as construction. The structure was supposed to be completed in 4 years with a budget of $7 million, but instead took 14 years and a total cost of $14 million. Along with this, the Opera House ended up becoming a place where the musicians couldn't hear their music due to acoustical flaws as well as improper planning. The Opera House and stage production halls somehow were switched and housed wrong, leading to another high expense of nearly $300 million to rectify the acoustics. Seongsu Bridge collapse. In 1994, the central section of the Seongsu Bridge, located in Seoul, collapsed into the Han River, costing the lives of 31 people. The bridge was designed to take on a load of 36.3 tons per car, but vehicles of 47.3 tons would commute using the bridge as well. With the bridge taking on extra load combined with an engineering flaw discovered in certain joints post-investigation, it cost the State Council $185,000 to compensate for the lives tragically lost, along with $2 million worth of repairs. Later on, it was also discovered that a couple of repairs and scheduled maintenance were not followed through. Lotus Riverside disaster. Lotus Riverside is a residential complex located in Shanghai. In 2009, one of the 13-story buildings collapsed, missing its neighboring structures that could have caused a domino effect. Though most people evacuated in time, the life of one construction worker was lost that morning due to the fall. The cause of the collapse was found to be due to shoddy foundations as well as non-compliance construction standards that also had the developers accused of sacrificing quality for quicker payments. The developers faced losses of up to $30 million as compensation to the homeowners, as well construction expenses. Cloud skyscraper, Seoul, immediate backlash. South Korea's largest city took on a project to spruce up Seoul's skyline. Part of the multi-use complex, which was set to cost several $billion, included a twin-tower design, which has come to be known as the cloud skyscraper. It features two towers connected by a design that resembles a cloud. This drew immediate criticism from the USA because of its resemblance to how the World Trade Center Twin Towers looked when engulfed in smoke before their collapse in 2001. The design drew harsh backlash, causing the architect to issue a public apology. I-35 Bridge, Minneapolis, USA. In Wisconsin's largest city, the bridge that spanned across the Mississippi River in Minneapolis, connecting the I-35 freeway, is considered one of the worst architectural failures in modern history. The bridge, which carried 140,000 daily commuters, collapsed on August 1, 2007, taking the lives of 13 people and injuring another 145. The cause of the collapse was a flaw in the design, which had plating that was too thin along the rivets that gave way under the intense weight of so much vehicle traffic. Leaning Tower of Pisa. Although the Leaning Tower of Pisa is considered one of the modern wonders of the world that attracts millions of yearly viewers hoping to snap a photo with the Leaning Building, it's actually a pretty flawed design. The failure of the architecture is also the very reason for its immense popularity. The base of the tower, built on clay, has sagged the tower since its existence hundreds of years ago, making this one of the biggest accidents in engineering history. But the silver lining is the massive tourism it ended up attracting, ultimately turning this fail into a historic win. Citigroup Center, New York. When the Citigroup Center building was built in New York City in 1970, there wasn't any space, so the architect decided to build over St. Peter's Lutheran Church, which occupied the site. In order to do so, the 915-foot tower was quite literally built on stilts to hang over the church. From the offset, it's pretty apparent to most people that this design seems really flawed, but developers pressed on with construction, ultimately building a skyscraper that was susceptible to toppling over at the first sign of a major storm or hurricane. In fact, officials calculated the building would come down within the next 16 years of its construction. The city kept this fact hidden from the public, taking on a massive project to correct the design, ultimately fixing Citigroup Center's engineering without the residents of New York City ever finding out until years later after the fix was in. So this was our today's video. I hope you all like it. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe the channel. We will be back soon with a new video. Till then, keep supporting and take care.